I got a quote for you guys that you guys have probably heard some variation of in some way or form. And it's most people don't listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. Now, I know we've all had a conversation with someone one time, two times. We might know a group of people like this or a few people that you are having a conversation with them or you're telling them a story and you already know they're not listening to a word you said. It's like they don't care about what you're saying, or they are using like, oh, that's crazy, what, but like they're not really listening to what you're saying. Or I've been in a conversation with someone that I was telling a story when I was younger, and they just changed the topic completely. And I'm like, did you even like heard what I was even saying? Like, I don't think people, whether you consciously do it or unconsciously do it, a lot of people don't like being around people who don't listen. Not just even like being a active listener, just listening in general, because it kind of disrupts the flow of the conversation. It makes you look really self-centered, and it makes you seem like you're not really there for them. You're not really there to like engage. You're just there to like get your point across, make yourself feel good, kind of thing, and you did. I know we all know at least one person or have gone into a situation like this before. And it's not really the best way to go about things. Being an active listener is something that you're not really going to see too often, because it's really rare that when you're in a conversation with someone is asking you questions about yourself and they're actively listening, nodding their head and giving you questions or just responding to you with open-ended questions about what you said. It's not every day that we kind of see these things. And it's something that I needed to work on for a little bit, because whenever I was in like a heated argument about like an anime or AOT or something like that, I would interject my response and I wouldn't really give any room for a lot of people to like even give their point back. I wouldn't even be like, oh, hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, but nah, just boom, boom, boom. And it's just not the best way to go about things. So why is this skill even important? Why, like, what's the benefit of it? You're not really gonna be around people. You're just not gonna be the best person to be around if you don't really actively listen. You're not gonna have the best dates, especially when you go out on dates and you're just kind of bloating about your accomplishments, things you've done, the what you got planned. You're not really considering the other person or showing that you're interested in the other person in any way. You're just not gonna go too far. People are gonna see you as selfish. Just a lot of negative things that come with it. So let's actually go over the definition of being an active listener. It is the deliberate, conscious practice of fully concentrating on and understanding, responding to, and remembering what is being said, both verbally and non-verbally. So with all the English out the way, it really just means paying full attention to somebody with eye contact, their body language, and just giving your fullest attention to them. So how can we do that? How can we actually be a good listener? Literally, as I'm talking to the camera now, you're making eye contact with the person. Your body language is towards that person. You're not just like, yeah. You're not kind of just like half-assing it, especially if you want to show the person that you care about what they're saying and you're listening to them. You're making eye contact with them. You don't have to nod your head every time, but you're fully engaged, eye contact, you're nodding your head. And a most important thing is that you're present. I don't think you're gonna have the smoothest, most of the time, you're not gonna have the smoothest conversations with people if you're not being present while you listen. You're already, as someone is telling you something, you're not even listening to anything else because you're hooked on what they said about 5-10 minutes ago. You're not present in the conversation. And sometimes that happens. You do just really want to interject and you just go ahead and do it. But if that's a constant thing, it's not really gonna work out too well, because you're just constantly interjecting your point. So those are, let me go over 3 or 4 more steps. So you're making eye contact, you're making head nod, like you're actually showing you're listening, you're being present, and the last one is really asking open-ended questions about what is being said. So you're listening, taking in the information, and even if you have something to say, you kind of just wait for them to fully stop before you say your point. And even if you have to interject, you could say something like, I don't mean to cut you off, but then you kind of give your point if you absolutely have to. So those are 4 things that I personally use to just help me be a better listener. And a lot of great things come out of being a good listener, especially, well, 3 to 4 good things that I would say. The first one is that if you're on a first date or date number 25, it could still work. If you want to make, if you're on a date with a girl, obviously, and you want to make her feel like you hear her and you understand her and you're there for her, as you're asking questions and being curious about her, you're listening to the words she's saying, you could repeat some of the things back that she said to you. So you could, for example, you could be like, oh, so you're saying that when you did this, you ran into Vanessa and Vanessa snitched on you, something like that. That shows her even more that you are listening to the things you said, that she's saying, that it's important to you, and that you're there for her. You're not just kind of like talking about your new Benz or new whatever you just got, and she says something about her day, but then you're like, actually, I want to do. You're actually listening to what she's saying and paying attention to it. And Dale Carnegie, this is someone that wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. He wrote in his book that people's favorite thing to talk about is themselves. That if you get someone to talk about themselves, they're gonna spend hours doing it. So if you facilitate that by asking them questions that people would enjoy asking, and you listen to what they're saying and you show that you're listening to them, nodding their head, giving open-ended questions back, you're gonna see that they just gonna like you. Like, it's really that easy. It seems really easy, but when you pay more attention into doing it, into the little details of being present and listening, like, dates are gonna go so much better, and a lot of people are just gonna gravitate towards you. The second thing about benefit about being a good listener or an active listener is that you're going to be called a good conversationalist, which is funny because you don't have 20 stories like planned out or a whole list and agenda of things that you are going to say. You just be curious. That's a really important point, because if you're curious about someone, the questions come flowing. And if you're listening to the questions and you ask questions to those things that they're saying, since you're listening, you're going to be deemed a good conversationalist, and all you're doing is just really listening to what they're saying. And if people feel you're a good conversationalist, they're going to want to be around you more. They're going to want to do things for you. You're going to be seen as a well put together guy. It's just all for the benefit. And the third reason why it's a really good thing to be a great listener is just that people are going to want to bend the rules for you, because you're making people feel heard and understood. You're making them feel that you're a friend. You're not just bloating about themselves and like not taking in anything that they're saying, or you're not bloating about yourself and taking in everything that they're saying. You're showing them that you care about them by listening to the things they say, by asking them questions about the thing they say. And I promise you guys, just go about your day, ask honest, genuine questions, then pair it with being a great listener or actively listening, and you will see that a lot more people are going to gravitate towards you. You're going to see their body language change. They're going to want to tell you more things because you just feel more trustworthy, all just because you listened. So if you guys feel that this video has helped you, or you want to ask me a question, go ahead and send me an email at ominira with 3 A's and a 7 at gmail.com. It's going to be in the description. And if you feel like you want to make a donation, go ahead and hit the PayPal or Cash App link. Go ahead and donate however much you feel this video is worth. And for ado, I'll see you guys in the next video.